Hello everyone and welcome to a June, I had to check what month we're in, June Romance for Jail book box unboxing. So this was the biggest size. It comes with 6 signed books. They're all paperback and you can choose what tropes you like, whether it's small town, LGBT, whatever tropes. I selected all tropes. So I have no idea what I will be getting. The inside is just like that, so you can't really see anything. So let me get everything out and I'll show you what I got. All right, let's go through the non-book items first. So they always come with a treat, and in this case it is 2 Tootsie Rolls. I'll give these to my mom. She really enjoys Tootsie Rolls. And for me, they're fine. They're okay. I can take them, I can leave them. But my mom enjoys them. There is this pomegranate moisturizing hand cream. I'm really picky. I'll also give this to my mom. She may like that. The only downside with this is it's a one-time use thing. So I'll let her see if she wants to use that. Paper items, about a giveaway. And here's a promotional bookmark, just one more page. Promotional bookmark for Alexis Winter, for the author Alexis Winter. And then there is a cardboard coaster. Reading is my favorite thing to do. Same on the back. A promotional bookmark, can't show part of it, gotta cover it, for Bound by Words by E.L. Koslow. Find my books, follow me on social media. So promotional flyer for the author. Okay, so those are the paper goods. Now, non-paper is a promotional bookmark, but it's one of those corner bookmarks. Let me grab a book that I have. I just need to put this away. So just goes, I'm just going to find a page. Just goes on the page. If you can slip it in, there we go. And then it's just a corner bookmark. See? There you go. Just a corner bookmark. So that's cool. These are not my favorite types of bookmarks, but you know, I'll still maybe use it. Thrillers That Bang, I'm guessing by Blair Babylon. So I'm guessing it's steamy suspense romance. And then I have a face mask, aloe vera mask. This one I actually will use because this is a sheet mask. I prefer the sheet masks. So this will be used by me. And then there's something here. I'm guessing these are straws in a little pouch here. Metal straws, it looks like. Yep. So if you drink boba, I'm guessing that's, which I don't. I'll just use this for regular, like maybe if I ever make a smoothie at home or something. And then 2, one with a bent neck and one straight. So 3 metal reusable straws. Definitely a useful item. I do have a drawer full of these, so they will go in there to be used. So, okay, not bad as far as non-bookish items. Now, I'm going to sort the 6 books into my least favorite cover to my favorite cover, and then I'll show you these and read the synopsis. Okay, so first up I have Notorious by Leslie Adams. This is actually book number 5 in a series, and it's the IOU series. So this is number 5. It is signed. These all come signed. These are all indie / self-published authors. There is a thing saying about the book here. And there is a playlist. I love it when books come with a musical playlist. So before I read this book, I will do this. I am going to read this dedication page because I read the first like 5 words. It says, "To my demons, fuck off. I won. You have no power over me anymore. But if you can inspire someone else to slay their own demons, then thanks." Okay. All right. So this one says, again, this is book number 5. Picking up your favorite adult film star at a bar in Vegas is a bad idea, especially when you wake up the next morning married to him. Ask me how I know. Before I met Velvet the Cowboy, the public knew me as an innocuous guy who was running for office. Now I've gone from boring to notorious in 24 hours. The hot stranger's ring on my finger puts a damper on my political ambitions since his day job isn't voter friendly. This is sounding like a male-male romance. Let me scroll down. Yes, so according to Goodreads, this is a male-male contemporary Western romance, also about sex work and mental health and forced proximity and politics. So if you like any of those tags, there you go. In any case, when I find out Velvet's dark plans, I know I can't let him out of my sight, which means I'm taking a gorgeous 6'6" slow-talking cowboy home with me to protect him from himself. Being with him might light my career on fire. I'm just not expecting it to do the same to my heart. It says this is a standalone contemporary romance about Johnny Haskell, a cowboy turned adult star who stops to pet every good dog, and they're all good dogs, and Court Delmont, a senatorial candidate who wants to save the world. It features recovery from a mental health crisis, healing from old wounds, and love that takes these two by surprise. This book contains sensitive themes. A detailed description of the contents is on the author's note to the back in the book preview. Happily ever after, guaranteed. So there we go. So that is Notorious. Now I'm going to go to the first book in this series. Oh, I backed out too far. So the first book is called Ambiguous. I want to see if it's also an LGBT. And yes, it is also an LGBT. This one's about music. It's contemporary and it's a male-male. So maybe all of them. I'm not going to check all of them, but that's, so the first one. I will purchase the first book so I can try to read these in order. So next up, when I click on the book, it doesn't show the name of the series. So maybe it's the, I don't know. It does say book 1 on the cover as well. So this one is Shadow of Fury, and I'm guessing this is going to be a shifter romance just because of the wolf on the cover. This is book number 1 in the Wayward Mates, and then there's a little wolf silhouette there, so that makes me think this is probably going to be a werewolf shifter or a wolf shifter romance. So this is by Jess Bryant. And let's see. I'm trying to get to the signature page. I can't keep the cover open. There we go. So there's the signature page. And then we have the dedication. He's keeping secrets. She's done with the lies. So kind of like an about the book. So no playlist in this one, which is fine. I just prefer the playlists. He's keeping secrets. Logan Kemp buried the love of his life when he was 19 and, unable to face the loss of his future mate, he left Shadow Pines. 6 years later, he's been summoned back to deal with his ailing father and take his rightful place as Pack Alpha. Only the pack he left behind has changed, and everything he thought he knew is turned upside down with one fateful encounter. So yes, this is a wolf shifter romance, and I'm finding I really enjoy these. I just started a trilogy that's a wolf shifter, and I am finding I absolutely love these. Like, I think werewolf is my second favorite, but very close, like, tie with vampires. So I do like a wolf shifter, I'm finding. Continuing with the synopsis, it says, she's done with the lies. When Culvert was 16, Ren Culvert was 16 when her sister drowned. It was ruled an accident, but she always believed Lark's boyfriend was involved, and that his alpha father covered for him. She wants to rip him apart when she sees him again, but instead, a bond sparks between them, and all her righteous fury is suddenly wrapped up in the confusing need to be mated with this man she hates. So fated mates. Okay. Only the truth can set them free. Can Logan and Ren manage to put the past behind them, or will the need for revenge ultimately destroy them and their pack? So let me look up the tags on Goodreads. Oh, don't want the author profile. Here we go. Okay, tags. It just says shapeshifters and paranormal. So those are the only tags. Okay, this next one is the first book in a series. The genre tags are reverse harem, contemporary fake dating, menage, and humor. And this one is 2 Times the Trouble by Stephanie Brother. I prefer illustrated covers over the ones with people. When I'm looking at both of these, I actually really like both of these. I like the cowboys. I love someone dressed as a cowboy. I really like that. And then men in uniform, but cowboys are my preference. But the reason why this one is my preference over this one is because of the background. I love the moon and seeing the stars and galaxy. I love that. So, but this ekes it out just a little bit as far as my preference between those two, because this is an illustrated cover and I love illustrated covers. For the most part, some of them are not that great, but usually illustrated. It says this is a fake date rom-com, so this is a romantic comedy. These are going to be steamy, whether it's milder spice or more erotic. I won't know until I pick it up, or if the tag on Goodreads says erotic. This one says, I didn't want one fake boyfriend, but somehow I tangled up with two. My ex cheated me out of my savings. My car took early retirement, and my mother was threatening to disown me if I didn't find a date for my sister's high-profile wedding. Enter handsome, wisecracking, out-of-towner Max. Alternately friendly and standoffish. He initially rubbed me the wrong way, but now he's giving me looks that make me wish he'd rub me in all the right ways. If you know what I mean. Sure, he's a delicious piece of eye candy, but men can't be trusted, and there's something about him that doesn't add up. Still, I'm out of options, and apparently the world will end if my mom doesn't get a name for the place cards right this minute. So when Max offers to be my pretend boyfriend, I agree. But it turns out his offer is a 2-for-1 deal. Max has an identical twin, Miles. And wouldn't it be hilarious, they say, if the two of them switch places throughout the multi-day wedding festivities and act like they're the same man? Yes, I would find that comedic. Okay. Unfortunately, they're charming enough to talk me into going along with their silly prank. And their love of secrets doesn't stop there. Max is clever and flirty and makes me feel like the only woman in the room. Miles can be grumpy and stubborn, but has a tender, caring side that melts my heart. We have a lot of fun together, especially in the privacy of the room we're all sharing 2 times the fun. But just when I start to wonder if our fake and somewhat unconventional 3-way relationship could be something real, I find out the men I'm falling for have a hidden motive. And they're about to bring much more trouble into my life than I can handle. So, there's the signature page. I realized I forgot to show you that. And then we're into chapter 1. So, no playlist there. Okay, so this one, I love the view on this one. So this one, actually, I am surprised I like this one better than the illustrated cover, but I also love views of like with the mountains and a body of water, even though I have thalassophobia and I don't want to go out on the water. If I can't see the bottom, forget it. But I do love images of like a house on the lake surrounded by trees or things like that. And so yeah, that's this one. I love, this is an absolutely beautiful cover to me. This is by Etta and it is Safe With Us. This is a reverse harem romantic suspense novel. And it looks like this one is actually a standalone, so that is good to know. Okay, this one said, oh, let me show you before I forget, because I'm sure at some point I will. There's the signature page, and then the title page, dedication, dear reader. Okay, so I'm going to read the synopsis, and then I'll read, it says, this book contains some darker themes with depictions of PTSD, parental drug use off the page, and character death on page. There is stalking and kidnapping that occurs on the page. And then there's also mentions of sexual assault, and I'm not reading the rest of the dedication until I'm ready to pick this up. It says, falling for her wasn't the plan. We were just supposed to keep her safe. And then there are 4 POVs it looks like we'll be following. So the first one is Kelly. It says, my life was fine. I worked, went home, and spent time with my best friend, until I gained some unwanted attention, that is. To keep me safe, my childhood crush hides me away with him and his 2 roommates, who are so ridiculously attractive. Can I stay here for weeks without falling for one of them, or all of them? Brian, underneath Brian it says, she's my brother's best friend and the love of my life. I've been keeping an eye on her from afar for years, but when her life is in danger, I do the only thing I can. Keep her safe and hidden with me. Can my heart handle having her so close, yet not having her to myself? Another POV is Josh. It says, I've always been the quiet one who prefers to be alone. Then she came along. She's a ray of sunshine in my darkness and a woman I shouldn't want. So it sounds like there's maybe one of them could be a grumpy sunshine. So if you like grumpy sunshine, maybe. I don't know for sure. It says, the need to keep her safe is ingrained in me. I just need to separate those feelings. Can I manage that when she is burrowing her way into my heart? Genre tags, let me see. There's no genre tags. There's not even a synopsis on Goodreads for this. So Okay. The last POV is Logan. It says, our home has been missing something for a while. We've been doing the bare minimum, surviving, but not really living. When we took Kelly in and she pulled on all of her, then we took Kelly in and she pulled on all of her heartstrings. Now all I can see is her. If we keep her safe, can we just keep her? So there we go. All right, moving on. Mafia, sweet. Okay, so I'm marking this one as I own it. It does say this is book number 1 in the Venom's Kiss. And as far as genre tags, someone has listed this as with 4 spice peppers, so it's got a 4 spice rating. No genre tags, but it does say this is a hate to love mafia romance. And this is Strawberry Venom by K.L. Kenna. I love more than illustrated covers. I like books that are just covers that are simple, that have just like one focal image on here. And this is a snake amongst flowers, which makes sense for mafias. Let's see. Here is the signature page, title page, another title page, and then we have the dedication for the babes who are drawn to morally gray men and their giant knives. Playlist, sweet, excited. There's a lot of songs on that one. Okay, this one says, I am not a good man. My 9 to 5 is spent with a blade in my hand. I hunt, intimidate, collect debts from my uncle's brotherhood, the hooligans. I believe in consequences, an effect for the cause. Fate is folklore and love an illusion. Until I met her, Little Red. Okay, now that's kind of making me think this is like a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. I won't know until I read it, because it doesn't say on Goodreads. Just because of the Little Red. Could be wrong. It says, some call me Reaper, the angel of death. She calls me her wolf. Now I'm more convinced this is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. I told her to stay away from me, knowing she doesn't belong in my world, but I didn't know who her father was or what he had in store for her. Now, protecting her is my new obsession, because if she doesn't belong with me, then I don't belong anywhere. Good thing she didn't listen. So if you have read this book, let me know if it's a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. It definitely gives me those vibes from the synopsis. Okay, now, according to Goodreads, it does say this is part of a series called The Crush. I'm waiting for it to load, because it didn't say if it was number 1 or something, so I don't know if it's a brand new series or if it's book number, who knows. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try pulling this up on Amazon. And see if it will tell me, because it'll say like if it's part of a series or one of something usually. It does say book 1. Amazon does say it is book 1. And it looks like it's the only book out so far. So, good to know. Okay, so this is The Crush by Ren Browne. Unless it's Brownie, but I'm guessing that E at the end is silent. Let's see, Goodreads, the tag is romance, small town. I love a small town. I prefer small town over something set in like New York. I want to go to New York someday. I would love to go to like the museum there and things like that, but I prefer small town. It does say spicy western, contemporary, and found family. I love a good found family. Found family is my favorite trope in fantasy, but I also love it when found family is found across other genres as well. And then very simple cover, just an item, cute cover, love it. So, red, black, and white. These were my junior high school colors. So every time I see red, black, and white, I immediately think of my junior high. This is just pink and red, but I loved, again, just the one image. This one says, oh, let me go, before I read the synopsis, let me show you the signature page. And then it has a title page saying this diary belongs to. Okay. Content warning. It says, while The Crush is a fictional romance with an incandescently happy ending, there are also a number of mature themes in this story, including detailed sex scenes, mental health struggles, and depictions of grief that may be triggering for some readers. And then it lists the author's website if you want a more detailed list. And we got another playlist. Happy, happy. I'm seeing that pop up more and more, especially in the romance books. This is divided into parts, and then it looks like it is chapters after that. I don't know. Looks like chapters, but It does say parts when it lists the contents as far as like the, yeah, it says parts, but it's actually chapters. So, the crush, the lie, the trip, the hero, etc. At least that's what I get from just a flip through. I'll know that is parts because that's definitely less than, like, I'm on chapter 69 and that's definitely less. So it is parts, and then there's chapters, obviously a part of that. Okay, cool. Synopsis. Oh, and then here's part of the bow here on the back. So, what if he's always it for me and I'm never it for him? For as long as I can remember, I have been completely infatuated with Daniel Rios. A shame, because not only is he 12 years older and painfully indifferent to my existence, but Daniel also left 8 years ago, signing up to join the DEA while I was still signing out of homeroom. Okay, so if you like age gap, there you go. Now, I'm just back from college, right back under my family's supervision, and more than a little surprised to find I'm not the only one back home. This time, is it too much to hope that he might see me too? Just another reason to stay away. Trying to move on from my past while simultaneously trying to fit back into the life I left behind. The one thing I could really use is a distraction, unless the distraction's name is Isabel Rivera, the youngest daughter of my parents' best friends. Off limits doesn't even begin to describe what Isabel should be for me. However, the closer I get to her, the harder I find it to let her walk away, no matter how much I know I should. And that is it. So these are the 6 books that came in my June Romance Reveal book box. Let me know, have you read any of these books? If you have not read these books but read other books by these authors, definitely let me know your thoughts on them if you have. Or do any of these books sound intriguing to you from just one, how the cover looks, and two, the description? Definitely let me know. And if you subscribe to Romance Reveal book box, what books did you get in your box? Definitely let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.